Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick look at the Meikon underwater enclosure for the Sony RX100 IV. Now, for those of you who saw one of my recent videos unboxing the Enclosure underwater enclosure, which is significantly more expensive, made in the USA for those of you that are concerned with that, this is a very good alternative. Meikon has been making underwater enclosures for some time now. You can find this on Amazon. I'll include a link in the description. It does not come with this strap you see here. That's from one of my older underwater enclosures, which, as far as I know, could have been made by the exact same company, but under the Sony brand. In terms of what you'll get out of the box, you're looking at it. This is the enclosure. It does come with a red filter, which is definitely necessary if you are planning on taking this, I wouldn't say to the maximum depth, but even if you go 30, 40 feet, you're going to want that red filter, so that's an additional savings here. You're looking at around $270, $250 bare bones for this enclosure on its own. I do actually like a lot that they decided to do a blackout finish on the front of this so that essentially you don't lose the functionality or capability of your flash underwater. Now, granted, you probably will need a strobe or an LED underwater light, which you can easily attach to this using the base plate right here. I did purchase the version that included the actual handrail, which you'll see in a moment, the grip. But otherwise, I really did like the form factor and overall convenience that the Enclosure had to offer, even though, again, it does have a lower depth rating, 130 feet, excuse me, versus the 200 rating on the Enclosure. And here is the RX100 IV, which I will be popping into this enclosure for all of you to see. But before I do that, I wanted to show you what else comes in the box. Essentially, I was able to pick this up a day before my trip, so it was something where I was trying to choose between this and the Enclosure, and I will eventually be doing a video to cover at least what I think is relevant between the two. This was where the red filter was, 67 millimeter thread for those of you that are curious. Some paperwork that is included right here, not going to get too deep into that. Instruction manual, and one of the key differences between this generation and the previous enclosure that Meikon made for the RX100 III, again, is that blackout finish in order to allow the flash to actually go in the direction you desire rather than spread throughout the enclosure because the previous gen was clear all around. Otherwise, the only other thing in here is the handle that I was just mentioning, and I just felt it was better to purchase this and have it rather than not. Nothing else in the box, so I'm going to get rid of it. And basically, this is going to allow you to attach an underwater LED. Meikon is not really in favor of using strobes. I understand why. LED is more cost effective and in many cases now much more powerful. Once upon a time, a strobe was all you could use. So here you can mount up essentially another arm. You also have the ability to mount right there on that shoe at the top accessories. So really a lot of flexibility here in my opinion for a relatively good price. I believe this entire package, if I recall, was $270 US, which if you compare that to something like the Enclosure that I unboxed again not too long ago, you're looking at 550 retail. So let's go ahead and open this up. You can see the locking mechanism right here. You just slide that up, open up the actual latch, and always with an underwater enclosure, make sure that your O-ring right here around the entire frame is clear of any debris, dust, anything that could cause it to actually leak. Obviously, that is your enemy. In terms of durability and build, I would say that this is pretty solid. I mean, it is not a brick house like the Enclosure, but definitely does the job. It does have a sensor here for any moisture. You can see it going off as I touch it. So if anything makes contact with it, basically, it's going to let you know. That's something that the Enclosure doesn't actually have. Not a knock against the Enclosure, just a different product in many ways. And again, I will be comparing these. The fit here is pretty much all you can see. These support rubber pieces are going to just allow you to guide the actual camera in. You also want to eject the flash because without the flash, this will not operate, which is something that took me a few minutes to figure out because I didn't understand why inside this enclosure I wasn't getting any picture unless the flash was ejected. That is not a problem you'll have with the Ike Light, something I'm just pointing out. Once you've got the camera in there, just go ahead and close it up. Again, test this in advance to make sure that you do have a good seal without the camera in the enclosure. You want to fully submerge this enclosure or any enclosure you plan on using, and make sure you have no water leakage. Once that's done, controls are fairly straightforward. Form factor, in my opinion, very nice, convenient, especially if you aren't looking to do professional work here and it's really more a matter of, you're a casual diver. I am certified, but how many times I go a year varies. So I wanted something that was going to give me the ability to take the RX100 Mark IV to depths that I would actually reach and still leverage the full capability of the camera. In terms of buttons, up here we have the power button, and I should have a battery in there. You can see the camera just powered up. If I pull this off, you're going to see the red filter still on there from the last dive. No card on board right now. You will need to optimize settings for actual diving conditions, something that Ike Light does a better job of giving you direction on what to do with your RX100 Mark IV. I give them credit for that. And then all of the buttons back here, I'm actually going to shut this down, are labeled. Not incredibly well, but they are there. You can see right above my thumb different icons to basically appropriate each of the buttons on the back here. And this may look like a mess. Ike Light, I think, does a better job of labeling them, but they're different beasts altogether. Menu right here, function, display, they're all labeled. So you do have labels, your flash, the burst mode or drive mode. So it is there. Also the shutter button on here, pretty nice. It is tactile enough to feel the half press and get your focus lock before taking a shot. Your zoom lever right here. And essentially, that's pretty much it. I mean, dial mode right here, also very tactile. That's something I liked about this enclosure. So at least at first impression, this seems like a winner. And, the little experience I've had with it has been solid. If I end up, I will end up providing samples from it, because in all likelihood, this is going to be my go-to for the RX100 Mark IV. It's really the right combination, I would say, of value and overall performance, unless you're a professional. And in that case, you're probably going to want to go with a little bit more beef, which is something like the Ike Light. I, again, will be comparing them side by side, but the Meikon, if you're in the market for value, if you want something just so that you can protect your camera from the elements, or, again, scuba dive with it, snorkel, whatever it may be, you're looking at, in my opinion, one of the better solutions out there. It makes sense, it works, and I really haven't had any problems. Durability, well, that's something I'll only be able to determine over time, and we'll eventually update all of you on, but overall, this enclosure really does check just about every box. Again, remember, this hand strap that I have here was something I had from an old Sony underwater enclosure, and really is great. Of course, there are many underwater straps you can go with, so you shouldn't have a problem finding one. I didn't, but that was because I actually had one in-house. And then, of course, if you want to step up to having this mounted, very easy to do. It just screws into the base plate using these two mounts right here, and then you have a real grip rather than just a wrist strap, and can then attach additional accessories for lighting, as I mentioned before, because the flash, even though they did a good job blacking out the front, and the diffuser does a solid job, it's clear that if you want proper, flash capability underwater, you do need a strobe or an LED. The onboard flash here is not going to be enough. In my case, maybe, but for a professional, again, you're going to want, or if you're looking for the best possible results, you're going to want more than just the onboard flash. But any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.